I watched this movie last night called Emilia Perez. Okay. Have you heard about it?
No.
It's the worst film I think I've ever seen in my life.
Really?
Yeah, and it's getting nominated for Golden Globes and everything and BAFTAs and stuff. This is the plot of the movie, right? It's a musical set in Mexico, a Mexican musical, and the plot of the movie is that there's a guy who's the head of a cartel, and boy, he's a trans woman. He's a man who wants to be a woman.
So much going on.
So there's just already. So then he enlists like the help of like a lawyer for some reason to help him become a woman.
He's trying to sue his dick off.
Legal emancipation.
Sue his dick off and sew some tits on. But that was her job. Go find me some tits. But he was like, and keep the change. But he's like, go and get me the best surgeon on planet Earth or whatever to go and make me a woman. And then she goes, all right. And then she's just a spineless whore because she's like,
sounds like she really needs surgery.
Yeah, yeah. Get me tits, and while you're at it, get yourself a spine.
Chris
See
Spine.
if they'll do a 2 for 1. Yeah. Go 3 for 1. But she's just like, yeah, I'll work for a fucking. All the characters are so unlikable. She's like, oh yeah, I'll work for a fucking cartel guy who's killed loads of innocent people. So she goes to like Israel and all to get plastic surgery. She goes to fucking Israel.
Wow, that's
brave.
brave.
Yeah, because they're used to.
Well, there's a lot of donor bodies over there.
There's lots of spare cocks lying around, just dead IDF soldiers.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, can they do that? Can they just like sew a bunch of foreskins
Yeah, I
together
think
and
so.
just
what was that?
you just get all the foreskins and then just
And
or is
what?
that's probably not that's probably not well, what's the equivalent of haram in kosher? It's probably not kosher. To make a dick out of foreskins.
It's not kosher, no.
Definitely not.
But no, but so yeah, she goes to Israel, and then meanwhile there's all these songs thrown in that are absolutely horrendous.
Is there a mariachi band?
There's not. There is, I think, at one
Oh, I was
point.
gonna say.
Cut off my dick.
Yeah, and she goes to, and the doctor is like, she meets with this doctor who's a plastic surgeon, and he's like transphobic, and he's like, they're singing to each other. He's like, tell your friend he's not a woman.
Wait, it's a
He needs
musical?
to, it's a musical.
Oh my
yeah.
god.
This is
It's
wild.
like, tell your friend he's not a woman. He needs to get mental health help and all this sort of stuff. And she's like, no, he is a woman. He's always known. And then he's like, all right, I'll help him. And then he flies to Mexico, meets with the cartel leader, and he's like, can you make me a woman? He's like, you've got yourself a fucking deal. And then, but he takes him into a room to convince him that he's a woman. I don't know how he does that. I don't know how he does that.
See this?
Yeah, he cooks him a nice meal or something. I don't know. He crashes the
Blows
car.
him.
I don't know. Yeah,
Sucks
yeah, I
him
don't know. He's just annoying. But so the doctor's like, yeah, I'll do it. So then the cartel leader is like, all right, I'm going to be a woman, and then I'm going to become a woman, and then I'm going to flee Mexico. And I'm going to leave behind my wife and kids because just fuck them.
She's not gay.
Because it's just, he's like, I don't want to deal with them. So then, and you're supposed to like, this is like the main character that you're supposed to like. And you're like, you're a cartel boss who's killed innocent people, and you're ditching your fucking wife, your wife and kids to go live as a woman. So off he goes anyway. He becomes a woman, the most unconvincing woman I think I've ever fucking seen in my life. And he fucks off anyway. And then 4 years pass, and then he's like, you know what? I miss my kids.
I miss my,
She misses her kids.
Yeah, I miss my cock.
And she, I miss my kids, and I miss my cock, and I'm sure they miss my cock as well.
Yeah.
I hope your kids don't miss your cock, because that'd be weird.
Yeah, that's the twist.
Yeah,
M. Night
I
Shyamalan.
miss my daddy's dick.
I'm a
But
nonce.
This is the thing, right? So she flies back, and she gets the lawyer after 4 years, and the lawyer's like, I thought I was out with this. Just fucking leave me alone.
Just
She's
when
like,
I get out, they put
yeah,
me right back in.
Yeah, that's what our dick said. But I wonder if you go trans, do they like keep your dick in a freezer in case you change your mind?
Oh,
Put it on ice. Put that on ice. I don't know yet.
I may need that.
Yeah, can you just keep that in a fridge, and then if I change my mind, you can just sew it back on. But
maybe it'd be cool if you could just sew it onto your back like a little tail.
right,
So it
yeah.
keeps it alive.
That'd be great. Yeah, you can piss in your own ass. Then that'd be great. If you can't find the toilet.
You just have like a waterfall cascading down your ass cheeks.
Beautiful. Feel like a built-in
That's what-
B-day.
Oh, no.
Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be so good.
That'd be so handy.
Like, oh, I blew my back out. But
So when you suck your own dick that's in your back, you blow your back.
No, actually, someone sucked the dick on my lower back, and it's after blowing my back out. But anyway, so you have to watch this movie. I'm have to ruin it though.
I'm here for it. If anything, you've convinced me to watch it.
She goes to the lawyer and she's like, "Yeah, I miss my kids." And then the lawyer's like, "What are you doing? You're gonna fly back to Mexico and be like, yeah, I'm your dad, but I've got tits and a cunt now." You know what I mean? And then he's like, "Yeah, whatever." So he flies back to Mexico. And he's like, "What will we tell the kids?" And
so he was living in Israel still.
He was living somewhere as a woman.
Sorry.
She was living as a woman. I think she was living in London, actually. There's a scene
of course,
in London. I think she was at fucking Cafe Mode at a gig there or something. And just tried to fuck her. But she but anyway, she goes back to Mexico. And when basically what they said to the kids, they said that they did something with his DNA where they said that, like, oh, he was killed because he's a cartel boss. So that was on the news and everything. So the kids and the wife, who's Selena Gomez, he used to bang Justin Bieber.
Yeah.
They think that he just died in a cartel killing or whatever. So then he comes back 4 years later, and then they're like, "What would we tell the wife and kids?" And they're like, "Oh, we'll tell them that you're the dad's cousin, and you've come back and you're gonna help them because you've got money or whatever." So then it's like a Mrs. Doubtfire fucking thing where
I'm here
they
for
move into her big mansion that she has from like blood money and from fucking doing whatever. And then the kids and the wife move back in. They're like, "Who are you?" And it's like, "Oh, I'm your dad's cousin or whatever." And then there's a scene where
so it's like a Mrs. Doubtfire.
It's like Mrs. Doubtfire. It's pretty much like that's what someone in some reviews like. This is just basically fucking Mexican Mrs. Doubtfire.
Wait, but what point of the film is she moved back into the family's house?
So like, like a third of the way through, she just goes back to Mexico.
So all that had happened in the first third of the film.
Pretty much. So she goes.
I thought we were near the end.
No.
Okay. Wow.
She goes back to Mexico then, and then she's like, and then there's a scene where, and then obviously she has to act like she's their aunt and not their father. So
can't fuck them anymore.
She can't fuck them anymore.
Yeah.
She's like, "Oh,
you will
God."
respect her.
Yeah, but so then she goes back, and then there's a scene where she, like, one of the kids can't sleep, so she goes into the room and she's like, whatever, reading them a bedtime story, and then the kid starts sniffing her, and the kid goes, "You smell like my dad's."
What part is she sniffing?
He's just like, "Oh, I forgot to wash my balls."
Yeah.
But anyway, she goes. And then she goes, "Oh yeah," and she makes an excuse for there. And then she has like a crisis of conscience where she's like, I was responsible for so many people going missing because I've killed so many innocent people that I'm going to start a charity where we help find people who were killed by
me
basically, and killed
body.
by cartel leaders." And then poor Selena Gomez is in the middle of it going, "What the fuck is going on?" And then at the end of the movie, then this will spoil the whole fucking movie. Then she gets kidnapped by Selena Gomez and her husband, who's also a cartel leader. And then they're like, there's this thing, and then they all die at the end. And then the only one who's left is the fucking
it's the
lawyer
penis,
bitch.
it's the cock.
It's just the cock. It's just, that's the last shot of the movie. It's just the cock in the freezer.
Just zooms out.
It just goes, "Never go trans." This is what happens.
This is sponsored by like the ultra conservative Christians.
Yeah. It's sponsored by the Catholic Church. It's just like, this is what happens to you if you become trans. You fucking go and you die in a big worst fucking movie I've ever fucking seen. People were like saying it's offensive to trans people because they were like, this is like, all these gay organizations came out and were like, this is offensive to trans people because it's like, why is the... But also, it's like, damned if you do, damned if you don't.
100%.
People are like, oh, there's no trans people in movies, so they put a trans actor.
I think there's a better way to represent trans people.
This is what the trans people were saying. They were like,
it's a starting point.
The main actor is trans, so she's actually a trans woman.
Right.
But then they make her the most unlikable protagonist in a movie ever. And not because she's trans, but because it's like, she became a woman, so just, it's all the horrible stuff you did, it's fine. And then also you ditched your wife and kids, and then you're going back and you're just completely fucking with their heads, being like, "Yeah, I'm your dad, but you're auntie as well." And it's mental. So then, and then also apparently Mexicans hate the movie as well because they cast no Mexicans in it, and they cast Selena Gomez in it, who didn't speak Spanish, so she had to learn Spanish in 3 months. So her Spanish is horrendous.
This is brilliant.
They had to rewrite the script 3 months. They had to rewrite the script after it became apparent that she wasn't gonna know Spanish well enough. So by the time they started shooting the movie, so they had to rewrite the script so that half the time she was speaking in Spanish, and then half the time she had to be like, "My Spanish isn't good, so I'm going to speak in English," like in the movie. So
Which a Spanish woman.
But
saying-
Mexican.
she was just like, "Oh, I grew up in America, so my Spanish isn't great. Is it okay if we speak in English?" Like that's said in the movie.
Wow.
And then they obviously had to cast like big names because it's a Netflix movie or whatever. So there's this girl Zoe Saldana who was in Avatar. She
Oh,
played
yeah,
one of the
she
blue
went-
cunts
yeah,
or whatever.
She was
I think
trans
she was
in that.
blue cunt number one.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was trans in Avatar. And but yeah,
That big tail on the back. She's fucking everyone.
but then anyway,
Hermaphrodite.
so then she's cast in it, and she speaks Spanish, but she grew up in the Dominican Republic, so her Spanish is different from Mexican Spanish.
Yeah.
So she's speaking in Spanish, but it's like a different fucking dialect. And then so they had to factor that into the script. So they were all Mexican, but they were all second generation Mexican because they needed some excuse for why the Spanish was bad. And it's absolutely atrocious, and the songs are horrendous. The scene where she goes to Tel Aviv to get this is no word of a lie, to meet the doctor who's gonna fucking do the surgery. She walks into a clinic and a musical number starts, and they're like, "Do you want a penis or a vagina?" And she's like, "Oh, it's a vagina." And then they're just singing these songs, and they're wheeling trans people around on trolleys,
No.
and they're all like, "Woo! I'm a woman now." It's
and dicks are just falling down like confetti.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, they hit a fucking and there's a cannon and just dicks come flying out. They're like, "Help yourselves!" Yeah, it's the worst fucking movie I think I've ever seen.